You lost your keys this morning. Then you missed the bus. Then your card got declined at the coffee shop, even though you know there's money in the account. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing you could point to and blame. Just a slow, quiet unraveling of a day that should have been ordinary. And somewhere around the third small failure, a thought crossed your mind. Why does this keep happening to me? You called it bad luck. But what if it isn't luck at all? What if what you're calling bad luck is actually a debt? Not a debt of money, a debt of attention. A debt your own mind opened years ago and never closed. And today, without warning, it came due. This isn't superstition. This is psychology. And once you understand the mechanism, you'll never look at a bad day the same way again. Start with a simple question. Why do certain memories refuse to leave you alone? Not the big traumas. Not the obvious wounds. The small ones. The unfinished conversation. The apology you never gave. The promise you quietly let expire. You'd think the mind would file these away and move on. It doesn't. In 1927, a Soviet psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something strange while watching waiters in a Vienna cafe. They could recall complex, unpaid orders in perfect detail. But the moment a bill was paid, the memory vanished almost instantly. She took this observation into the lab and confirmed it. Unfinished tasks stick in memory far longer than completed ones. Psychologists now call this the Zeigarnik Effect. Here's why it matters to you. Your mind treats unresolved moral moments the same way it treats an unpaid bill. The small cruelty you never apologized for. The trust you broke and never repaired. The moment you chose yourself over someone who needed you. These don't close. They stay open, quietly, in the background of your mental operating system. And an open loop consumes energy. It waits. It watches. It resurfaces at the worst possible times, disguised as distraction, disguised as anxiety, disguised as bad luck. You didn't lose your keys because the universe is punishing you. You lost your keys because part of your mind was somewhere else, somewhere it's been for years. Let's go deeper. In 2006, researchers Chen-Bo Zhang and Katie Lillienquist ran an experiment that would later be nicknamed the Macbeth Effect. They asked participants to recall either an ethical or an unethical decision from their past. Then, without mentioning morality at all, they offered a free gift. A pencil or an antiseptic wipe. The participants who had just recalled something unethical overwhelmingly chose the wipe. Their bodies wanted to cleanse something their minds could not name. Guilt, it turns out, doesn't stay in the abstract. It manifests physically. It changes behavior in ways the person themselves cannot explain. Think about that for a moment. These participants weren't punished by fate. They weren't cursed. They simply carried something unresolved, and that unresolved thing quietly reached forward and touched an unrelated decision days or weeks later. This is the mechanism behind what you call bad luck, not mysticism. Leakage. Your unresolved past leaking sideways into your present, shaping choices you think are random. Is it starting to make sense? Your mind is not a filing cabinet. It's closer to a ledger. And ledgers don't forget entries just because time has passed. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because you might be tempted to think, fine, but bad luck is still just an accident, a coincidence, a random cluster of misfortune that means nothing. And you'd be partly right. Not every bad day is retribution. But psychologist Melvin Lerner uncovered something in the late 1960s that explains why we're so quick to search for a moral reason behind misfortune in the first place. He called it the just world hypothesis. People have a deep, almost involuntary need to believe the world is fair. That good things happen to good people, and bad things happen to those who deserve them. This belief is so strong that when good people suffer for no reason, observers will sometimes blame the victim just to preserve the comforting idea that the world still makes sense. But here's the twist inside the twist. That same hunger for fairness that makes you blame others unfairly is the same hunger that makes you quietly judge yourself. When something goes wrong in your own life, your mind doesn't just ask what happened. It asks, what did I do? And if there's an old unresolved moment sitting in your ledger, your mind will find it. It will connect the dots, whether they were meant to be connected or not. The debt doesn't even have to be real for your subconscious to try to pay it. So which is it? Is your bad luck a genuine consequence of something you left unfinished, or is it your own mind manufacturing meaning out of randomness because meaning feels safer than chaos? The honest answer is both. And that's the part that changes everything. Because here's what nobody tells you about karma, about cause and effect, about the invisible ledger you carry. It was never a courtroom. It doesn't need a judge, a jury, or a cosmic accountant tallying your sins. It's simpler than that and stranger than that. Your brain is the ledger. Your nervous system is the courtroom. Every unresolved moment, every unclosed loop, every small selfish choice you never made peace with, lives inside you as unfinished business. And unfinished business doesn't just sit quietly. It shapes your attention. It shapes your decisions. It shapes the small, seemingly meaningless choices that stack up into a very bad day. You didn't get unlucky today. You got interrupted. Interrupted by a part of yourself that has been trying to get your attention for a long time. Think about the people you know who seem to move through life with a strange, steady grace. Not because nothing bad ever happens to them. Bad things happen to everyone. But because they close their loops. They apologize when they're wrong. They repair what they break quickly before it can calcify into guilt. They don't let debts accumulate in the dark. And because of that, their minds are freer, lighter, less likely to sabotage a Tuesday morning over something that happened 3 years ago. This is the modern mirror. You don't need to believe in cosmic justice to see this pattern playing out in your own life and in the lives of everyone around you. Watch the coworker who never took accountability for a mistake, and notice how strangely often small chaos follows them. Watch the friend who ghosted someone instead of having a hard conversation, and notice the low hum of anxiety that seems to follow her into unrelated rooms. It isn't punishment from the universe. It's residue from an unfinished loop, quietly steering behavior from behind the scenes. And you, somewhere in your history, there is a small moment you already know about. You knew it the second I mentioned unfinished business, a conversation you avoided, a person you let down and never circled back to. A version of yourself you walked away from without closing the door properly. You don't need to confess it to anyone. You just need to be honest with yourself about it for a moment, right now. Because the debt isn't collected by fate. It's collected by your own attention whether you like it or not. The good news is that a ledger like this can be closed. Not through punishment, through completion. Send the message you've been avoiding. Say the sentence you've been swallowing. Make the small repair that costs you 5 minutes of discomfort and buys back years of scattered, sabotaged mornings. The Zeigarnik Effect works both ways. Just as unfinished tasks haunt the mind, completed ones release it. Close the loop, and the mind stops guarding it. It stops leaking into your Tuesdays. So the next time your day starts falling apart in small, inexplicable ways, don't ask what's wrong with the world. Ask what's still open inside you. Ask what conversation you've been avoiding. Ask what small selfish choice you've never made peace with. The keys, the missed bus, the declined card. These aren't curses, they're notifications. Your own mind, quietly asking you to finally look at the account you've been avoiding. You lost your keys this morning, and for the first time, you understand why. Not bad luck. A debt you forgot you owed, and the only person who can close it is the one carrying it.